Is Andrew Storm with Creative Community Solutions. And as you know, when we do our articles and coverage, we're able to cover topics ranging from arts and entertainment, college and pro sports, government, politics, community, things along those lines. And we have a chance to sit down and talk with the people who are really making news and also doing extraordinary things in the community, game changing and beyond. So to make sure to stay connected, you may visit us on the web at acenortonccs.com. Click on the menu for articles and coverage, and you're good to go. On Facebook and YouTube, Creative Community Solutions LLC, so you can read the full article as well as the full interview. On your other social media platforms, Ace Norton CCS on Instagram as well as Twitter/X. And you can also check us out on LinkedIn and Medium. So excited to have someone who is a sharp businesswoman, community advocate, doing some wonderful things. So I'll have you introduce yourself.
Well, thank you so much. Depending on the day, I wear different hats. I am a entrepreneur, but I will say a social entrepreneur. My name is Erica Gwyn. I am the head of school for Seven Oaks Academy, a Montessori preschool in Gwinnett County, Georgia. From the community stance, as a business owner, I also do some consulting on nonprofit management and nonprofit fundraising strategies through my other entity called the Nonprofit Guru, which is an LLC, been in operation since 2016. Put it to the side some to focus on the Montessori, or at the time, a traditional daycare. But both of those passions align because it's all about the public health and public welfare, and education is right at the center and nucleus of that.
Wow. So it's great how we think about public sector and we think it's just like one piece only, but you're showing where there's areas of overlap in regards to the nonprofit piece, the education piece. Let's take a little bit more time on the education piece in the Montessori direction. And how did you know that that was a direction you wanted to go in, where, like we say, walk and chew gum? Yeah, it's business, but it's in the business of community, youth, families.
Absolutely. I guess I have to go back to 2019. No, before 2019, excuse me, 2009. And I used to have a math and science summer camp doing STEM camps around the city of Atlanta. And as a business model, I often was informed by banks that is this a year-round operation? So I took that intel and pivoted and found a school to then begin to do some additional year-round access and resources. So the transition from doing hands-on STEM development, career readiness for students who were looking to get going into private schools or going into your magnet programs, I took some of that foundational skills and realized we needed to reach students sooner. And I ended up in the early learning space, or early childhood education in 2019, because I knew that we had to reach students a little bit younger than those that we were working with from the math and science summer camp perspective.
And I'm glad you shared that, because we always hear start early, start as soon as possible. And yeah, we get it. But when you look at through the lens of what you've done through the camps, through what you're doing with the school, could you please really reinforce what makes it so critical to try to capture young people as early as possible? And then in turn, it's also helping capture parents, guardians, other community advocates as early as possible.
Oh, yes, absolutely. When I first came into early learning, of course, I have a undergrad in public health, a master's in health administration. And I always thought from the data side that I'd work in a hospital setting, but I've enjoyed working in the early childhood space, particularly because in that infant room is where brain development, neurons, so many opportunities for children to develop social emotional regulation, that it sets the framework for what type of learner they'll become when they do go into the academic arena. So one of my biggest insight moments was, we've heard data about third grade and the third grade reading skill connection to the prison pipeline. I've heard about eighth grade skills and how that plays a part in someone being eligible to graduate high school. But in my earliest years here at Seven Oaks Academy, Superintendent Wilbanks in Gwinnett County said 52% of kids in Gwinnett were not ready for kindergarten. And that data blew my mind. I was like, wait, did he say third grade? And I had to clearly revisit that. And he was very clear that it's not all over the state of Georgia, but in his area in Gwinnett, that 52% of kids were not ready. And that was a call to action for me that something had to change.
Well, I'm glad you shared that and broke that down, not only through the lens of day to day and the qualitative, but also the quantitative, looking at the stats and what are the numbers saying. So here you are being proactive, capturing people early, and then 2020 hits regarding, COVID and regarding the pandemic. Walk through with us, how did that impact you at that time? And what are some of the lingering effects that you're seeing in your day to day, the teaching, learning, engagement, all those types of things?
Yes, absolutely. Well, when I stopped crying after figuring out, like, oh my gosh, we went from 120 plus students to, I remember reopening my doors and had one student return, and I thought, this is going to be interesting. And but that moment slowed things down enough for me to analyze and say, what are we known for? What are our outcomes that we want to do to be a good partner to our Gwinnett County Public Schools feeder pathway? And so with actually a typo in a search online, I was looking for something called conscious discipline, and I ended up on positive discipline. And positive discipline led me to Dr. Maria Montessori. And I read a paragraph about this in college. Let me go and revisit. And that journey down the rabbit hole on an internet search brought me to a 10-week curriculum course that I took where I thought I got my doctorate degree in understanding Montessori education. And I loved every minute. I'm a lifelong learner, and that pivot was a great way for me to see that we were only scratching the surface in early learning development in a traditional daycare model.
Wow. So it's almost like best and better practices. That's what I keep hearing. And we talk best practices, all this type of thing. What would you say is part of, I'll call it evolving practices in regards to the teaching, learning, quote, holistic development of students, and then the halo effect in regards to the parent or guardian having a better sense of resources that are out here, or they can still be engaged at some level. So walk through with us those key aspects.
Yes, absolutely. Well, what I loved about Dr. Montessori and the methodology that she says that the children revealed to her, she didn't create directly, but it's that before you can become a good student, you have to be a good person, a good human. And so there's a lot of emphasis on grace and courtesy, independence, even starting in our infant needle room where you see 18-month-olds putting on their own shoes, taking off their own shoes, feeding themselves, really developing some foundational skills of self-care and care of their environment to then develop into something further. So in that energy and saying the best element that I think Montessori brings is that it just really is a holistic approach to a student being self-confident, self-assured. And then that wraparound support, we just hired a parent engagement coordinator. And in that role, she's educating parents on Montessori methods that parents can do at home. Something as simple as reducing screen time. We have some students that, because of how much screen time they do receive, meaning being on a tablet, being on an iPad, being on cell phones, watching TV, that it transfers into spatial awareness where children are bumping into furniture because they're so used to looking at a flat 1D surface that they're not interacting with real tangible 3D objects in their real world. So really it's taking it back to simplistic opportunities to go and explore in nature, using nature as a classroom to teach mathematics, language, so much language development. And again, those fine motor and gross motor skills, all of those things are critical to then later becoming that strong academic student that we need in that K-12 or cradle to college pipeline.
Wow. And I'm glad you are articulating this so people are more aware and they understand, not only being proactive, but we do have to evolve. We do have to make adjustments. Now, here we are. It's almost the end of the year, the holidays, like people from the Midwest say, the hawk is out, all that type of thing. Walk through with us what is going on right now during this holiday season and how can concerned individuals in the business community, the nonprofit community, or general community lend assistance and related support for the projects that you guys have taking place?
Absolutely. Well, I want to give a snapshot of my community I serve. Montessori is a very expensive curriculum, from the materials that we utilize to the training of the guides to the time and care that's given to students. So during this holiday season, because we serve low and middle income families, there's a big gap in families being able to afford access to this. So there's an opportunity for us to connect with business communities to say, we are invested in our supply chain pipeline, because if our community residents don't have a place that's safe and nurturing for them to put their children during the day, they won't feel good as an employee in the workforce with their constantly stressed out about their child care arrangements. Another element is definitely teacher training. We have a wonderful relationship. Can I say the name of the high school, or should I keep it, broad?
It's sharing the story. So if these are pieces that are part of the story, please share it.
Yes, we do a wonderful work-based learning training with high school and college students who are wanting to continue or learn about a career in early learning education. So we have a wonderful training partnership with Meadow Creek High School, where high school seniors, as well as college students from Gwinnett Tech, they partner with us to come and actually train and get their practicum hours or their internship hours, or maybe they are looking for full-time employment once they've graduated. We formed that partnership. So again, the first one is opportunities to support low-income families who may not have access to a high-quality Montessori education. Second is through our teacher training education opportunities. And we're building our Partners in Education initiative so that individuals can come in and they can do workshops and trainings and do volunteer projects with us here on our campus, which is a beautiful 12,000 square feet and lots of things indoors, outdoors, from our indoor classrooms to our outdoor classrooms, that we could bring business leaders in to be a part of magic and some changing moments with some young people.
It sounds like, and I keep hearing bridge opportunities. There's bridge opportunities to connect with families in need to be able to take advantage of the education and related opportunities. It's a bridge opportunity in regards to, like you said, career, practicum, field experience, and then it's field, or I'll say bridge opportunities for those who are looking to connect with something constructive and help add to the investment that's already taking place, that they're able to do so. What are the best ways for the general public and community to learn more, not only about these bridge opportunities, but just in general, the work that is taking place?
Absolutely. I would always begin with our website. You can visit sevenoaksacademy.org, and that's the word seven spelled out, OAKS academy.org. Also on our Facebook, we are Seven Oaks Academy Gwinnett. And then on Instagram, Seven Oaks Academy Gwinnett as well.
Okay, so you've provided the website, you've provided the social media, and as we get ready to bring everything together, what would be one theme or one takeaway you'd want people to have if they don't remember anything else about the services provided and the learning and engagement opportunities and the career pathways? What's one takeaway that you want people to have?
Absolutely. I would love for people to understand that Gwinnett County is a very resource-rich community, but the community also has a beautiful, diverse tapestry that represents the world. And the students that we are raising and that we're teaching are not just going to touch the local borders, but these are future leaders that are going to touch and change the world. And so my biggest takeaway is looking at the economy, some of the changes that have happened. We've lost federal funding, not just Seven Oaks, but across the country, but it's impacting us greatly. And that is something that we want to make sure we put a call to action to the business community to say, there's a corporate and a responsibility as a citizen to make sure that the future generations are taken care of.
Wow. And I tell you what, I thank you so much for not only sharing the story of impact from what takes place at Seven Oaks day to day, but that call to action and call to serve. And it's not just a call during the holidays, but any day. So we thank you so much for taking time. You've been provided the contact info for Seven Oaks Academy. Again, make sure to visit us at acenortonccs.com. Click on the menu for articles and coverage, and you will find the info there, as well as our social media, Crave Community Solutions LLC on Facebook, YouTube, Ace Norton CCS on your other platforms of Instagram and Twitter/X, as well as LinkedIn and Medium. So, Erica, we thank you for taking time out of your schedule. We also want to commend the tremendous staff, students, parents, and others who are already supporting the work that's taking place. And we're going to acknowledge those who are on the brink of getting ready and support. So until next time, seriously, take very good care. Have a good day, week, holiday season, and a very good start to the upcoming year, which is definitely upcoming.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just want to add, this school has been here for 35 years in the community. And I am just grateful for the moment to be here in this transitional moment. And I don't take it for granted. And I know we'll be here another 35.
Okay, so you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. So again, until next time, everybody take a care, be safe, have a good day, week, weekend, and holiday season. We'll see you soon.